guys, my name is Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the second video in my ranking series where I rank all of my blushes. If you haven't seen the first video where I rank my eyeshadow palettes, I'll have it linked in the eye up above or in the description box down below. This video was inspired by Kelly Gooch, who went through her entire makeup series and ranked it, so I'll have her ranking series in the description box down below. I don't know what happened to me in the past year. I was never a blush person and I would actually skip it in my makeup routine, but now I have 19 blushes in my collection and I don't know how this happened. But if you want to see me rank all the blushes from my least favorite to my favorite, just keep on watching. So number 19 has to be the NARS blush in Orgasm. Do you remember when everybody talked about this blush and if you didn't have it, you weren't cool? I lusted after this so badly and it was actually the Ulta birthday gift last year and I was so excited to finally add this to my collection. But I find this blush disappointing. I find that the formula is so hard packed, it's kind of hard to get pigment. I find that it has more of a sheen than it has color in my cheeks, and it's just not as flattering. And it's not everything I hoped I'd have after years of wanting it. The color is pretty, and I do have other blushes with sheen, and I tend to like a shimmery blush. I just find I really have to dig my brush into this pan to get any sort of pigment, and it's just not a color that I really enjoy wearing. I will be swatching all of the blushes, so there's NARS Orgasm. I'm happy to have this in my collection, but I'm glad I didn't buy it after all these years because I find it relatively disappointing. Number 18 has to go to my ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in the shade Rom-Com. It's this shade right here, and I find that this kind of has the opposite problem of the NARS Orgasm. It's too pigmented. You'll see on this initial swipe just how much pigment comes off. And I find that sometimes it can be so overbearing on my cheeks that I have to spend forever blending out the color. I tend to prefer something with pigment, but it's not too drastic immediately because otherwise I'd rather something that's kind of buildable and blendable, and I kind of struggle with this one. I think if you have a darker complexion, the ColourPop blushes might work perfectly on you because they are so pigmented, but because I'm so fair-skinned, it can be a bit of a slippery slope. So here's a swatch of the ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in the shade Rom-Com. Number 17 is the Flower Beauty Blush in the shade Peach Primrose. I like this formula and I find that it's decently pigmented. There's just something about it that I really can't get to work for me. This is my least favorite out of all of my peach blushes. I find the formula is decent. I don't think it has the greatest wear time, and I find that it can be pigmented if you apply layers, which is something that I like, a more buildable blush. I don't know if it's because this is a matte blush and I prefer a slightly glowy blush. This isn't a favorite. I wonder if it's the color. Maybe I should just explore Flower Beauty blushes more often, but this is ranks in number 17 in my collection. So this is a swatch of the Flower Beauty blush in the shade Peach Primrose. Now, just because these are ranking in the bottom half of my collection doesn't mean I don't like these. I tend to declutter makeup that I don't like or don't use, and I still use all these blushes frequently. I just have some favorites. Number 16 has to go to the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in the shade Justify My Love. I love this formula and I think it's being discontinued and I'm heartbroken. I bought a few of these off Haute Look last year and I actually just saw a few more shades at TJ Maxx and Marshalls this week. So if you like this formula or if you've been trying to try it out, suggest going to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, even Burlington Coat Factory to pick up some before they are gone forever. The issue with this one is just the shade. It's not a shade that I wear regularly. It's a bright Barbie pink and there's actually like silver micro glitters in it. When it comes to blush formula, I prefer a sheen over glitter, so that's one of the reasons this isn't my favorite. But overall, this color it's too Barbie pink on me and it's not something I reach for. I definitely use it in certain looks, but on an everyday blush, I don't reach for this one. So this is a swatch of the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in the shade Justify My Love. Oh, my swatches are going every which way. Number 15 is another Flower Beauty blush product, and it's the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in the shade Cinnamon. I don't know if the color that I got just doesn't work for me because this is almost more of a bronzer than a blush, but I find the formula so sheer. I have to build on layers and layers, and sometimes it can pick up on itself. And when it comes to cream, I want something natural and not really something I have to layer on top of each other. I really do think it might be the color. I'll do a swatch of it here, and you'll see that it initially comes out this kind of cinnamony brown color, but when you blend it out, it does blend out kind of sheer. I know people compare these to the Glossier Cloud Paints, which I haven't personally tried, but I know the Glossier Cloud Paints are a little bit more pigmented. I definitely want to pick up another color in this formula because I think that's my issue, but as of right now, it does rank in the bottom half of my collection at number 15. The number 14 blush in my collection has to go to Milani Luminoso. I like this blush, I just feel like they definitely changed the formula since the original one I got and this one. Do you remember when this was the only blush that Nikkie Tutorials bought? Because she 100% made me buy this product. Would you like to see a video on products that influencers have made me buy? Because I'm planning on filming that. So let me know down below if that's something you would like to see. But this blush is such a pretty color. It's a pretty peachy coral and it has a gold sheen. But I find that the sheen is really subtle compared to some of my other glowy blushes. I'd be interested in trying the new Milani because I heard they went back to their original formula and seeing how that Luminoso compares to this Luminoso. I like this, I'll definitely get my use out of it, but the formula. Also, this is one of those blushes that I just hate the packaging on. You lift it up and it has a little brush and a tiny mirror, but nobody uses that. And this center like window plastic part pops out on me every time. But this is a swatch of the Milani blush in the shade Luminoso. Number 13 has to go to one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills blush trios, and this one's in the shade Pink Passion. These are still sold at Ulta and Sephora, but they're also sold in TJ Maxx at Marshalls if you want to get your hands on some of these. I like the fact that you get 3 blushes and it's a great variety, but if you can't tell with the Too Faced Justify My Love blush, I don't really use this hot pink center shade. I also wish there was a little bit more sheen or depth of color or diversity in formula because these are all pretty matte. I don't think these blushes have the greatest wear time on my skin either. I have some other blushes, especially cream blushes, that last longer than this. So although I like this and I'm glad I have all 3 of these blushes because they're great for traveling, just not my favorite. Thus this ranks in number 13 in my collection. It's another one of the Too Faced Love Flush blushes. And this is in the shade Your Love is King. When it comes to wintertime, this is my favorite blush. It gives you those windburnt cheeks that I just think are so glamorous. But I find that I can really only wear this color during the winter because of its undertones. It's a beautiful mauve purple blush, but in the spring and summer, it just looks out of place. I love this formula, if you couldn't already tell. I find that it's pigmented, blendable, and buildable, and I find that some of the other colors, not this one, have a nice healthy sheen. Also, the packaging is so cute, it reminds me of those OG little Polly Pockets. So here's a swatch of the Too Faced Love Flush blush in the shade Your Love is King. And it's in the Becca x Chrissy Teigen face palette. But there's only one blush in here, so we'll allow the palette to count. The blush is in the shade Hibiscus Bloom. I think it's a pretty color. I just don't think this is as pigmented as I was expected. The blush does have a nice sheen, so it looks really pretty on the skin. When I reach into this palette, I reach for the highlighters or the bronzers and not really this blush. I like the fact that it is a darker blush because I feel like in face palettes, this could work for almost virtually any skin tone. It just isn't the most flattering blush in my collection. So this is the Becca blush in the shade Hibiscus Bloom. And this one is in the shade Pool Party. I like this one better than Pink Passion because there's more variety on the colors. You get this almost corally color, this really neutral, and this pink color. And I like being able to mix them together and create a custom color. Additionally, this pink color has some subtle shimmer in it, so you're also getting different depth and variety within the colors themselves. Like the other one, I don't think this has the greatest lasting power on my skin, but I like that this one has more of a diversity in the color scheme. Is the Balm's Hot Mama. And I know this is the smallest blush ever, and I'm actually working on panning this, but I love this color. I don't know if you could see in the close-up, but it does have some sheen, which I love in a blush because I feel like it's like a blush highlighter hybrid, and it gives me some just really nice, healthy, glowy cheeks. I love this color, and I will definitely repurchase it when I go out of this little guy, but so far he is going strong. I think this color is blendable, and it just looks really healthy and natural on the skin, and is something I can wear with my most dramatic makeup looks to almost no makeup. So this is the Balm's blush in the shade Hot Mama. ColourPop blush stick in the shade Mini Me. I really like this cream blush formula. I think it's easy to apply, and it actually has a really good lasting power for a cream blush. But I find that this can sometimes pick up my foundation if I put it on a little bit too heavy or I don't let my foundation dry in time. It'll be a little bit finicky to work with. You get so much product in this stick. If you just roll it up, that's the amount of blush you get, which is insane because you really don't need that much product because it's decently pigmented. I like this and it ranks in the top half of my blush collection, but it's not my favorite cream blush or my favorite blush in my collection. But this is the ColourPop blush stick in the shade Mini Me. One of the Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes, and it's the shade Ecstatic. I have this in a little mini shade, and if you didn't know that I liked it, you can see that I actually hit pan on this blush. The Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes are known for their long-lasting formula, and since blush is one of those first products to go on your skin, I love this. It's such a pretty color, and it's everything that I want it to be. It has a subtle, healthy sheen, but I wouldn't say it's glowy. It just looks really pretty on the skin, and I think it's buildable, really buildable, and decently blendable, but definitely the lasting power is one of my favorite things about the Tarte blush in the shade Ecstatic. Go to the blush in the Natasha Denona Mini Blush and Glow palette. This is so pretty. It has a very subtle, healthy sheen. It's a beautiful pink color. I find that it's not too pink. It's actually pulling up more pink than it is in person. And I just love this color. I love this palette actually. I think this blush is beautiful and it really gets me inspired to try more of Natasha Denona's products. As we all know, Natasha Denona can cost a pretty penny, but having these mini palettes makes her formula more accessible and it really makes me want to try more of her products. So this is the blush from the Natasha Denona Mini Blush and Glow palette. Becca Luminous Flush Blushes in the shade Tiger Lily. I picked this up recently at TJ Maxx and Marshalls because a bunch of Becca blushes and Becca products are there. So if you want to try any, highly recommend going to your local store. But I love this. It has such a pretty sheen. I don't know if you can tell on camera, and it looks so healthy on the skin. I find the formula is long lasting, but I absolutely love this color. It has, I would say it's a gold sheen running throughout, and it's just so pretty. The Becca blushes are also fairly pigmented, so I think this color could work on a slightly deeper skin tone. But I also find that with my light skin tone, it's easy to blend out and make work. So this is a swatch of the Becca Luminous Flush Blush in the shade Tiger Lily. Is another one of the Too Faced Love Flush blushes, and this is in the shade Love Hangover. This is just a beautiful peachy pink. I love this formula, if you couldn't tell, because I have 4 of these blushes in my collection, and I find that this color is so flattering. This is one of those year-round blushes where, as opposed to the baby pink and the Your Love is King, I felt like they were more seasonal. Granted, you can wear makeup whenever you want and there's no rules. I just like some of my face products to correlate more with the different types of year and the color scheme that I'm wearing. But I can wear this one anytime, any place. It's absolutely beautiful and I love the formula. So this is the swatch of the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in the shade Love Hangover. Number 3 goes to the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the shade Party. I had 2 of these. I had one in my Project Pan, and unfortunately it shattered, so I'm glad to have a brand new spare. I made my mom go to Sephora and get the birthday gift because she didn't want it, so I stole it from her. This is the perfect everyday neutral blush. Once again, the Amazonian Clay formula is relatively long lasting. It's just beautiful, and I find that this blush can go with any look. It's something I have a warm tone eye or a cool tone eye. I don't have to think a little extra hard about what blush to pair it with. So this is the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the shade Party. The number 2 blush in my collection has to go to the Too Faced Love Flush blush in the shade I Will Always Love You. This is the perfect peach color for my complexion. It's gorgeous. I love this blush. I love this formula. I think Too Faced kills it when it comes to face products. So this is the swatch of the Too Faced Love Flush blush in the shade I Will Always Love You. And the last blush in my collection, and my favorite blush, is actually a cream blush, and it's once again by Too Faced. And this is in the shade Peach My Cheeks. It's the Ginger Peach. This came out with their second revamp of the Peach collection. And I'm actually surprised that I found these blushes at TJ Maxx and Marshalls because I love this. It does have a slight peach scent, but I find that it's not too overbearing and it's not really noticeable unless I literally stick my nose in the product. But for a cream blush, this is so long lasting. I can put it on with my sponge, my fingers, or a brush, and it looks so natural, and it doesn't disturb my face if I already set my foundation and put powders on. I love this, and because it's a cream blush, it has a really nice luminous flush and just looks really natural on the skin. So this is a swatch of the Too Faced Peach My Cheeks blush in the shade Ginger Peach. So that wraps up ranking all of the 19 blushes in my collection. What's your favorite blush and your favorite blush formula, and what are some of your least favorite blushes? I would have never thought I'd have 19 blushes in my collection, but it's one of my favorite parts of my makeup routine, and I just love blush. I love the different formulas, the different colors. It's one of my favorite steps in my makeup routine. If you like this video and you'd like to see more ranking videos of different products in my collection, give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment down below because I can always film my bronzers and my highlighters. If you like this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I post about 2 to 3 videos every week, and I'd love to have you come join me on my next one. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching.